Romans chapter 2 quiz. Question 1. Why is a person considered inexcusable when judging others? A. Because they lack knowledge. B. Because they are sinless. C. Because in judging others, they condemn themselves. D. Because they are praised for their judgment. Romans 2:1. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same things.
Paul states that in passing judgment on another, a person condemns themselves. This implies that those who are quick to criticize others should recognize their own shortcomings and sins.
Question 2. What is the basis of God's judgment? A. Mercy. B. Righteousness. C. Truth. D. Faith. Romans 2:2. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things.
In Romans 2:2, the Apostle Paul is addressing the readers about the judgment of God. The verse specifically mentions that the judgment of God is according to truth against those who commit certain actions. Paul is emphasizing the idea that God's judgment is just and based on truth, highlighting the divine standard against which human actions are measured.
Question 3. What does the verse suggest about those who judge others for their actions? A. They will receive praise from God. B. They will escape the judgment of God. C. They will be exempt from consequences. D. They will face the judgment of God. Romans 2:3. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God?
In Romans 2:3, the Apostle Paul continues to address the readers, challenging their perspective on judgment. The verse specifically questions the readers' assumption that they can escape the judgment of God despite their own wrongdoing. Paul is pointing out the inconsistency of passing judgment on others, while not recognizing the potential consequences for their own actions.
Question 4. What does the goodness of God lead people to? A. Wealth and prosperity. B. Righteousness and holiness. C. Repentance. D. Pride and arrogance. Romans 2:4. Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness, and forbearance and long-suffering, not knowing that the goodness of God leadeth thee to repentance?
In Romans 2:4, in this verse, Paul is addressing the readers, questioning whether they are disregarding or underestimating the wealth of God's goodness, forbearance, and patience. He challenges them to recognize that it is the kindness and patience of God that should lead them to repentance.
Question 5. What will God render to every individual based on? A. Their wealth and possessions. B. Their social status and popularity. C. Their deeds. D. Their knowledge and wisdom. Romans 2:5. But after thy hardness and impenitent heart, treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God. Romans 2:6. Who will render to every man according to his deeds.
In this verse, Paul is addressing the consequences of a hardened and unrepentant heart. He uses the imagery of treasuring up wrath to convey the idea that individuals who persist in unrighteousness are accumulating judgment for themselves. The day of wrath refers to a future time when God's righteous judgment will be revealed.
Question 6. What is declared to come upon every soul of those who do evil? A. Prosperity and joy. B. Tribulation and anguish. C. Peace and comfort. D. Honor and glory. Romans 2:9. Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile.
In this verse, Paul is emphasizing the universal nature of God's judgment. He asserts that both Jews and Gentiles who engage in evil actions will face tribulation and anguish. The idea is that God's judgment is impartial, and it applies to all individuals, regardless of their background or ethnicity.
Question 7. What does Romans 2:11 state about God? A. God shows partiality to certain individuals. B. God is indifferent to human actions. C. God is fair and impartial. D. God favors the wealthy and powerful. Romans 2:11. For there is no respect of persons with God.
This verse emphasizes that God does not show partiality or favoritism based on external factors such as ethnicity, social status, or any other human distinctions. Paul is asserting that God's judgment is just and fair, applying equally to all individuals.
Question 8. By whom will God judge the secrets of men? A. Angels. B. Saints. C. Jesus Christ. D. Prophets. Romans 2:16. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ, according to my gospel.
Here Paul introduces the future day of judgment, when God will assess the hidden motives and deeds of every individual. The key element is that this judgment is carried out by Jesus Christ, highlighting the central role of Christ in God's redemptive plan.
Question 9. What is the person being addressed expected to do first before teaching others? A. Judge themselves. B. Forgive themselves. C. Teach themselves. D. Condemn themselves. Romans 2:21. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal?
Paul is challenging those who position themselves as moral instructors, urging them to reflect on their own actions and practices. The rhetorical questions he poses emphasize the inconsistency of teaching one thing, but failing to adhere to those principles personally.
Complete the verse. A Jew is one inwardly, whose praise is of A. Human authorities. B. Ancestors and family. C. Society and community. D. God. Romans 2:29. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Here Paul is addressing the significance of true spiritual identity and the essence of being a Jew in the spiritual sense. He introduces the concept that a genuine Jew is not merely one outwardly, based on physical circumcision, but one inwardly, with a heart transformed by faith and obedience to God.
How many did you get right? Stay tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe.